Your kidneys are dying quietly, and the very diet culture that claims to save them is actually speeding up the damage. But by the end of this video, I am going to reveal a specific preparation method for a 3-cent grocery store staple that literally forces your cellular filtration system to reboot. You have been lied to about carbohydrates and renal health. For decades, the medical community has terrified people with kidney concerns into eating bland, restrictive diets while ignoring the natural botanical medicines sitting right in the produce aisle. But here is the real trap you are falling into right now. You are likely avoiding root vegetables because someone told you they are too high in potassium or starch, completely missing the fact that these earth-grown compounds are the exact biological keys required to lower systemic toxicity. And this is exactly where most people fail when trying to heal. They cut out the very foods that possess the unique ability to bind to waste products and carry them out of the body. Let us start with the most demonized food on the planet, the humble potato. I am not talking about the deep-fried, genetically modified nightmares served in a cardboard box at a drive-thru. I am talking about raw, organic, earth-grown tubers. The biological architecture of a potato is a masterclass in human hydration and metabolic stabilization. Inside every potato is a matrix of chlorogenic acid, a bioactive phenolic compound that directly neutralizes reactive oxygen species before they can scar your renal tissue. But the secret mechanism nobody understands is the potassium to sodium gradient. The tiny nephrons inside your kidneys rely on a very specific electrochemical charge to pull waste out of your blood. When you consume highly processed foods, you flood the system with sodium, destroying this electrical gradient. The potassium found naturally in the cellular walls of a potato acts as a microscopic counterweight, restoring the pump and allowing the Bowman capsule in your kidneys to filter blood effortlessly. Yet, knowing this is only half the battle. If you just bake a potato and eat it, you might actually spike your glycemic index and cause vascular inflammation. This brings us to a shocking physiological loophole. When you slice a potato, soak it in distilled water for 12 hours, and then subject it to thermal cycling by boiling it, cooling it in a refrigerator for 24 hours, and then gently reheating it, you fundamentally alter its molecular structure. The digestible starches crystallize into a rigid matrix called type 3 resistant starch. Your small intestine cannot digest this. Instead, it travels intact to your colon, where it becomes a feast for targeted bacterial strains that produce butyric acid. This short-chain fatty acid acts as a biological shield, traveling through your bloodstream to reduce the inflammatory cytokines that destroy kidney function over time. But hold on, because the potato is just the entry-level phase of this protocol. The real magic happens when we look at ancestral roots. Consider taro, a rough, hairy, incredibly dense tuber that has sustained entire Polynesian civilizations for centuries. You probably walk right past it in the supermarket, dismissing it as some exotic ingredient you do not know how to cook. That is a massive mistake. Taro contains a highly specialized viscous fiber known as mucilage. When you consume properly cooked taro, this slippery mucilage coats the gastrointestinal tract. Why does this matter for your kidneys? Because of a biological pathway known as the enterohepatic circulation system. Your body is constantly dumping metabolic waste, urea, and excess hormones into your digestive tract. If your digestion is sluggish, those toxins are reabsorbed right back into the blood, forcing your kidneys to filter the exact same garbage twice. But taro mucilage acts like biological superglue. It binds to these toxins, trapping them in the digestive tract and forcing them out of the body before they can ever reach the kidneys. And the truth is, most modern diets completely lack this binding capacity. People are swallowing hundreds of dollars in synthetic detox supplements while ignoring the most potent natural toxin binder grown in the dirt. But we have to go even deeper. If you really want to armor plate your renal system, you cannot just look at the gut. You have to look at the liver. The liver and the kidneys operate as a tandem filtration plant. If your liver is congested, your kidneys take the brunt of the damage. This is where the rutabaga enters the picture. Rutabaga is a genetic cross between a cabbage and a turnip, meaning it belongs to the cruciferous family. Hidden inside its pale yellow flesh are sulfur-containing compounds called glucosinolates. When you chew a rutabaga, an enzymatic reaction occurs, converting these glucosinolates into isothiocyanates. These potent molecules travel directly to your liver and flip a genetic switch called the NRF2 pathway. This is your body master antioxidant command center. When NRF2 is activated, your liver ramps up its production of glutathione, the most powerful antioxidant known to human science. With the liver operating at maximum efficiency, the toxic load in your bloodstream plummets. Your kidneys suddenly have less work to do. They can finally stop operating in emergency overdrive and begin the slow, steady process of cellular repair. But there is a massive catch that you cannot ignore. If you just eat these foods randomly, you are playing Russian roulette with your mineral balance. Root vegetables are nutrient accumulators. They pull whatever is in the soil directly into their tissues. If you buy conventional root vegetables grown in nutrient-depleted, pesticide-soaked soil, you are consuming heavy metals that will further toxify your renal system. You must source organically grown, pesticide-free roots. Furthermore, the preparation is everything. The soak and leach method is non-negotiable for anyone actively managing compromised kidney function. By slicing these vegetables thin and soaking them in warm water, you allow the excess water-soluble minerals, particularly potassium and oxalates, to leach out into the water. You pour that water down the drain, taking the potential burden with it. You are left with the fiber, the structural antioxidants, and the complex carbohydrates that feed your microbiome without overwhelming your renal filters. Let me break down exactly how you implement this starting tomorrow. First, you locate a reliable source of organic taro, rutabaga, and potatoes. You dedicate a specific day to batch prep. You peel them because the skins, while nutritious for healthy individuals, can harbor a concentration of anti-nutrients and oxalates that stressed kidneys do not need. You chop them into small cubes to maximize the surface area. You soak them for a minimum of 4 hours, changing the water at least once. Then you boil them until they are fork tender, but you do not eat them yet. You place them in a glass container and refrigerate them overnight. This cooling process is the biological hack that transforms them from a simple carbohydrate into a therapeutic, kidney-protecting superfood. The next day, you take a small portion, perhaps half a cup, and gently warm it in a pan with a splash of extra virgin olive oil. The polyphenols in the olive oil will synergize with the fiber in the root vegetables, creating an anti-inflammatory meal that stabilizes your blood sugar, feeds your microbiome, and allows your kidneys to rest. So here is the absolute truth about healing. It does not come from a magic pill, and it certainly does not come from starving yourself of the earth's most foundational foods. It comes from biological leverage. It comes from understanding how to manipulate the molecular structure of humble, inexpensive vegetables so that they work for you, not against you. Your kidneys are resilient. They want to heal. They are simply waiting for you to stop giving them more toxins and start giving them the exact raw materials they need to rebuild. You have the blueprint now. The only question left is whether you have the discipline to execute it. Start soaking your roots. Start cooling your starches. Stop fearing the potato. Your metabolic health depends on it. Now go to the grocery store, skip the supplement aisle, and head straight for the produce section. The revolution starts in your kitchen.